You are listening to episode 53 of the Peaceful Mind podcast. Welcome to the Peaceful Mind podcast, a place for creating the peace of mind you need to be the best mom you are created by God to be. If you want to bring more balance, more joy, and more peace to your motherhood, this is the place for you. I'm your host, certified life coach and Catholic mom, Danielle Tino. In the name of the Father, of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit, let's get started. Hi everyone, welcome back. How are you? I'm in the midst of gearing up to send all three of my kids back to school. I remember when they were babies, and you know how you kind of look to the future and see when their graduation dates will be. And I remember having the discussion of there being the time when all three will be in high school at once. And here I am. So I have two seniors and a freshman this year. And we are here like all those years ago, just talking about it. And in a flash already, we've arrived. And that's just how it goes, right, moms? The ones of you who are in the midst of the infant stage of motherhood and you have several littles, what everybody says is right. It does go by so fast. And before you know it, you'll find that you'll be having conversations like I am about them going off to college. And then, of course, there's many of you moms out there who are beyond my stage and all your children have left and you're navigating this new empty nest stage. And each stage has such wonderful blessings, and it also brings us many different challenges in each stage. But that brings me to today's topic, where I want to help you form the powerful habit of peace, so that in each and every one of those stages of motherhood, you can have more than your fair share of peace and of certainty and of joy, contentment, because life keeps on moving. And we don't want to wait to feel peace in our hearts and to have peace of mind. We don't want to wait. I want to be able to help you tap into the feeling of peace no matter what is going on, no matter what stage you're in, and no matter what challenges you face, or even when things are all going so well. I want peace to be one of the feelings that you access in the forefront of your life. So I just got back from a life coaching event where one of my mentors and life coaches brought up willing participants to the stage to be coached on whatever was going on in their life right now. And I'm pretty sure that each and every one of the ladies who courageously volunteered was a mom. And as I listened intently to what their struggles were, what I noticed is that when they were asked the question, how do you want to feel? Because at the time they were talking about how they were either overwhelmed or stressed or worried or guilty. Feeling guilty was just kind of in the midst of the majority of them, really. And what they offered was that they just wanted to feel peaceful. So I know well, one, because I find myself wanting it in my own mom life, and that you all want it as well. But like all feelings, we can't just wait for outside circumstances to be all lined up and everything be all good for us to feel peace. This is an internal job. So cultivating the habit of internal peace comes first from your brain. It comes from in your thoughts, the ones you choose to think about what's going on in your life. And from there, those thoughts then create the feeling in your heart. So it's up to you, my friends. It's time to take charge of your emotional state, knowing that circumstances and situations will come and go in our life, and many of them are hard and challenging and things that we would not want to deal with, but they are happening and they're going to happen. And so when we embrace that notion, we can then gather our own God-given power to create peace and to remain peaceful despite the troubles that come and go into our life. I've recently read the book titled Atomic Habits by author James Clear. It's an excellent book that really helps you see why we have a hard time breaking bad habits, and it offers easy, actionable ways to build good habits. And today's episode, I wanted to take one little slice of what he introduces in the book that I really identify with as a key element to cultivate and create the habit of peace in the most powerful way. And that boils down into 2 steps. These 2 steps are what I'd like you to contemplate this week and apply to your life and take action on so that you can start feeling more peace in your life. And this is the simple 2-step process. Number 1, you decide the type of person you want to be. And in this instance of creating the powerful habit of peace, it would be to decide that you are going to be a peaceful person. And then step 2 is to prove it to yourself with small wins. So let's dive a little deeper into number 1, which again is to decide the type of person you want to be. So I'll just pose this question to you right now for you to contemplate. Do you want to be the type of person who is peaceful, who feels peace despite what's happening around you? Just kind of soak that question in and really ask. Because this awareness around yourself is kind of important to know, right? Like, would you define yourself right now as a peaceful person? Just think about a week, a 7-day span of your life. And if you had to take a guess on what the percentage of the time during the week that you feel peaceful, what would that be? Would that be 100% of the time, 50% of the time, 0% of the time? And I'm talking about assessing your percentage of peace for this current stage of motherhood that you're in right now. Whatever it is, identify yourself, and then right here, right now, let's just decide, because I promise you, if you want to be 100% peaceful, you can. And if right now you notice that you really don't feel it, like hardly at all, that you're more wrapped up in overwhelm and stress and anxiety, and you're not conscious around how much you feel peace or deliberately looking for ways to feel more peaceful. And the good news is that it can all change today. You can just decide that you are going to be a more peaceful person. And let's just talk for a second about even why we would want to do that. I believe that I am called to be at peace, that we are all called to be at peace. And I don't believe that we are meant to be in anguish or fear all the time. I know the goal of this life isn't for things to be perfect all the time or to resolve all of our problems. But on the other hand, I do know that it is possible to feel peace no matter what is happening in your life. And the more peace there is in us, the more peace there will also be in our families and in our troubled world. And isn't it so comforting to know that there's a tranquility that comes when all is going well, when our problems are resolved and our desires are satisfied? But because that is really rare, I love to know that there is a way to generate peace for myself, even in situations that are catastrophic by human standards. So I want you to identify yourself. I want to identify myself as a peaceful person. And the way to do that is to know that it always comes down to being the boss of our brains. Each of us, to purposely, with intention and focus, can create peace by choosing to think thoughts in any situation that creates the feeling of peace. It'll create the feeling of peace in your heart, and that is available to you every day if you, 1, just decide you will become a peaceful person. Now, I know some of you might hear me just saying, oh, right, that's easy for you to say. When I get some kind of terrible news or, like I mentioned before, a catastrophic event happens, how in the world am I supposed to stay peaceful at that point? Now, it's our human brain, and we can't always capture thoughts that really create the feelings that we want all the time. And yes, we're going to have thoughts that bring us that we are like sad or upset or angry or worried. That is natural. What I'm asking for you today is to just notice that we are trying to cultivate a habit of peace. And so we have to deliberately decide where we want to go, which we want to identify and become someone who is a peaceful person no matter what. So we just have to anticipate and put our focus in there so that when the smaller circumstances come our way, we get practice in. And when we do that, when the larger, more troubling and challenging situations and circumstances come to us, we can more easily recognize, oh, this is the place where I want to choose on purpose to become and feel peaceful. Yes, we are born with certain qualities, and we know there are parts of our DNA that we can't change. But I'd like to challenge you, especially if you're someone who has up to this point believed that you are more of, let's say, a worrywart or someone who freaks out a little bit when things don't go as planned or really lets an unforeseen negative situation kind of rock your world, to just decide today, because you know decisions can be made in a split second, that you are going to focus on becoming and recommitting to it every day to be more peaceful in your habits, to build a habit that you show up in a peaceful way. And maybe we have to wake up every day and recommit to that decision to be a peaceful person. But it is a worthy endeavor. So with the decision made, then comes step 2. So once you have a handle on the type of person you want to be, you then can begin taking small steps to reinforce this new desired identity. A couple episodes ago was my celebration episode, where I aimed to help you learn how to celebrate more of all the little wins that take place in your life, because there are a lot of them and they deserve to be felt and experienced. And there is just more wonderful things happening and that many of you may not realize. And so it's important to direct your brain towards those little wins. So in regards to building your powerful habit of peace, it's time to look and recognize all of the times when you are feeling peace, and especially recognize that there are times when you wouldn't normally choose peace, but you are able to then stop yourself and redirect yourself to a peaceful place where maybe your past, when you didn't identify as a peaceful person, you might not have been able to capture that feeling in the moment. So for example, I literally just heard a whole bunch of ruckus going on in the kitchen. So I paused this recording and I went out and I found my daughters and their friends totally making chocolate chip pancakes, and the griddle and the mixing bowl and the pancake batter and stuff was all over the kitchen island. The one that I had literally just cleaned up and put the dishes away and got all settled when I came in and sat down to record this episode. But I noticed that when I went out to go see what was going on, everything that was happening, that my usual default would have been something like, oh my gosh, this is such a mess. You guys need to clean this up. And I could feel myself getting irritated and being a little frustrated that I had just cleaned it up and then now they were making this big mess. But here I am in the other room recording a podcast on the 2 steps on how to build a powerful habit of peace. And so I was able to immediately recognize what was happening And I have already identified myself as being and wanting to be and to step into being a peaceful person. And so this is where I had the chance to give myself a little win and to prove and show myself. So I redirected my brain and thought of better feeling thoughts in this moment. And what I came up with was, wow, like how fun for them all being to be together, making breakfast. And I'm not having to make it for them, right? Like they took the initiative to make the breakfast for themselves. And yeah, they got some dishes dirty and they spilled some batter. But you know what? That happens. That happens with the best chefs, right? Where it takes a lot of dirtying of pots and pans and mixing bowls and measuring cups and griddles and in order to make that delicious meal. And that's just kind of part of the process that it takes to have yummy, fluffy chocolate pancakes. And, you know, the girls had put music on, and that's really the reason why I went into the other room, because I'm trying to record this podcast, and they were just out there having fun. So I was able in that moment to redirect what could have turned into like me showing up as irritable and frustrated. But I know that having those simple wins will help me in the long run. So I see that as a total win. I was able to show up peaceful and calm and lighthearted. And when at first my brain wanted to fight it, it wanted to fight that mess and argue the situation. But instead, I showed up peaceful, and it was a small win to show my brain that I am a peaceful person. And this is what I want for you too. Like, we all have much awareness around what our usual good habits are, and whether we like wake up early, whether we exercise 5 times a week, make our bed every day. And we have a lot of awareness around our bad habits too, right? Whatever they may be. But starting today, let's make thinking peaceful thoughts to have a peaceful mind, and feeling peace in our hearts and showing up in a peaceful way be a habit we focus on and build on each and every day, until it becomes just who we are and how we just be in the world. And we do this by just deciding to step into this new identity, being a peaceful person, a peaceful human. And then number 2, begin to take small steps every day to reinforce this new way of being. All right, mamas. Thank you for being here. As always, I'm grateful, and I hope it's giving you a little bit more peace of mind than you had before you listened to it. And so if so, do me the great honor of rating and reviewing the podcast so we can continue to spread the mission of helping moms live their best lives. Because when we do, moms, the whole world benefits. And if you want to take all the work that I give here on the podcast to a whole new level and personally apply it to your life, sign up for a free call where you will learn how you can join my one-on-one program, A Path to Peace, and really watch all of the transformations in your life create a life of peace and joy and balance. And I will see you there. You can sign up for this free call by going to my website, danielleteenel.com, under the coaching link. And you can find out how to get on my calendar, and let's up-level every area in your life so that you can feel peace about it all, because you are worth it. All right, everyone, I will talk to you again next week. Have a blessed one. Thank you for tuning in to today's episode of the Peaceful Mind Podcast. Are you ready to take everything I teach you here and put it to work for your own life? To really learn how to have peace of mind no matter what is happening around you? If so, I'd love to have you as a client. As your coach, this is where you'll get personal and focused time on your own mind, using life coaching tools, concepts, and proven life-transforming wisdom, all through a faith-filled lens. To learn more about how we can work together, come on over to danielleteenel.com. There you'll see how to sign up for a free coaching consult and learn how to get started. Until next time, peace be with you always.